Hey everybody, Erica Serwin here from Pink Buckaroo Designs. I've got a fun layered card for you featuring the Storybook Garden patch. I'm also using some sneak peek products that are coming out next week in our new online exclusive release. Let me tell you about some of the things I'm using. First, we've got the Storybook Garden patch. This is a very popular bundle from our Stampin' Up! Spring 2025 mini catalog. Then I am using this die set called Framed Scenes, and I'm using this die which actually cuts in the texture of your frame as well. That'll be available next week. I am using this die right here from the Mixed Labels dies. That's already available, but it is an online exclusive. My sentiment, I even show you the inside, Memorable Blooms, that one right there. And then the elements of text we're going to use on that piece in the background. Also to point out, this little strip of paper right here is a sneak peek. It is from the Woven Textures Designer Series paper, also available next week. Okay, well, let me get all of my pieces. There's a lot of pieces to this. All right, let's start with our card base. I have an old olive card base. I've put the fold at the top. I've got a piece of my Storybook Moments Designer Series paper. This is my favorite print from the whole package. Those watercolor veggies are just beautiful. All right, so there is our background for our images. We're gonna stamp the carrots twice, so let's get those. I'm gonna color them with Stampin' Blends, so that means we need to use Memento Black on basic white, okay? Then we're gonna stamp the cabbage or lettuce, probably lettuce, 2 different times. One in Mossy Meadow ink on Mossy Meadow cardstock. And then we'll use Old Olive ink on Old Olive cardstock right there. All right. Now let's stop and do our coloring. I'm gonna color my carrots Calypso Coral, and the reason I'm doing that is because the orange in our Designer Series paper is kind of a different orange. You can see it there. I found that pumpkin pie didn't look so great, so I am using Calypso Coral to go with it. Now I'm gonna take my dark Calypso Coral and do a line down the side like that for a shadow. Then take your light Calypso Coral and go back and blend that color over with a lighter color that you put on first, so they have a little bit of a shadow. Now take your Old Olive and color in those leaves. Now I have already done all of this ahead of time, so we don't have to do all the die cutting. So I'm just gonna color this one. I don't worry too much about the shading here because they're just kind of very close together. All right, so there's that. Then we're gonna stamp the watering can on silver foil. Now this time I am using Stays On. Stays On is a different black ink from Memento. You want to use Stays On when you're doing a non-porous surface. So the foil is slippery and the Memento will smear on that, but the Stays On will dry really nicely on here. So that's why I switched over to Stays On. Okay, so we've got all of those, and because of the magic of TV, here they all are already cut out for us. All right, now let's take a look at that frame that I talked to you about, the new release. It's really cool, looks textured, so we've got that. And then I've got a little piece of crumb cake that we're gonna put inside, and I felt like it was just a little bit too boring to leave by itself. So we're gonna stamp one of those really cool scripty stamps. These are great for backgrounds, just to add some texture and some interest to the background or to a piece of paper to make it have a little bit of pattern. So I'm gonna stamp, I want it light. So I'm gonna stamp crumb cake, and I'm gonna stamp off first on my grid paper and then stamp it on that. What does it say? I have no idea. It's very scripty and messy. I can't read it, so who knows? Okay, now we've also, last but not least, there's that banner in Calypso Coral. Okay, let's start with dimensionals on our frame. And I'm gonna take, let's see, you know what would be really good here is if we use, instead of dimensionals, our foam adhesive strips. They're skinny and they'll fit all the way down the side. Like that. And this one's probably a little bit too long. We're gonna have to cut it. And I don't think, we're not making a shaker, so I'm not gonna worry about putting it down all 4 sides. I think 2 sides is probably good. All right, now let's take that and put it kind of at a diagonal. I've got my block here holding the card down. You know what, let's just do it like this because it's bothering me. All right, now we'll get more dimensionals. And put that right there. And then we'll get our banner. Let's put 2 dimensionals right in the middle. All right, you want to make sure it doesn't go off the edge of your card. There we go. Now let's do our watering can, and I'm going to put a dimensional at the top so that it's out the same height as the banner. All right, now we'll take one of our lettuce and put that in the front, and then we'll take this one and put it in the back. Whoops, not upside down, like that. And then we're gonna get these 2 guys. Let's see if I can use my Stampin' Seal rather than my liquid glue. And we're just gonna have them kind of popping out back there. So cute. Now, one last detail I really thought went well with this card is the little bee. And you know, actually, we'll put this on at the very end because I'm going to use glue. These little tiny, they're called tiny bee trinkets, are teeny tiny, but they are so stinking cute. Now let's add a linen thread bow. I'm going to take my linen thread and fold it in half so that it looks like 1 piece, but it's actually 2. And I'm going to tie my bow. You know what I want? It's really curly, so I'm just going to try to iron it with my fingers. There we go. If you do that, it'll kind of straighten it out a little bit. All right. Now we'll get a mini glue dot over here off screen. And we'll put that right there. Now on the inside, we've got a piece of crumb cake. And a piece of basic white. And that Woven Textures Designer Series paper. This paper pack is all different, like natural textures, baskets and rugs. It's really cool. I'm going to put that right there across like that. And then we'll stamp our sentiment. Let's do it in Old Olive. This card could be for any sentiment. You can even make this a pocket for a gift card if you want. I appreciate your thoughtfulness. Okay, last but not least, let's put that tiny, tiny bee on the front right there. You just want a tiny dot. And then grab your take your pick tool because you're definitely going to want that. Okay, and then put that right there like that. And there you go. A multi-layered Storybook Garden kit or card for any occasion. All right, make sure you check out my blog. There are 2 other Storybook Garden projects there, as well as the free PDF with measurements and supply list. And let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, everybody. Happy stamping. Bye-bye.